100,000 Atlantic cod, $4.7 million, pulled from waters so cold they can kill a man in under 15 minutes. These aren't ordinary fish. Some weigh over 50 kilograms. They've survived in depths exceeding 300 meters, where pressure crushes and light disappears. And every winter, Norwegian fishermen venture into some of the most brutal seas on Earth to harvest them. This is the story of how humans extract millions of pounds of living protein from the edge of the Arctic Circle. How industrial fishing vessels navigate storms that generate 12-meter swells. How an entire nation built its wealth on a single species, and how, against all odds, they've managed to keep doing it sustainably for over 1,000 years. You're about to witness the entire journey, from the frozen hunting grounds 200 kilometers off the Norwegian coast to the processing factories where a single day's catch can feed 500,000 people, to the kitchens where this ancient fish arrives as one of the world's most valuable proteins. If you want to understand how modern fishing really works, how economics and ecology collide in the coldest waters on the planet, stay with us. Hit subscribe. This is a story of survival, strategy, and the hunt for giant cod in the Norwegian Arctic.
Brutal Norway fishing. 100,000 giant cod worth $4.7 million caught deep in the frozen waters.
The Barents Sea. January. Air temperature -12 Celsius. Water temperature barely above freezing. This is where the Atlantic cod reaches its maximum size, where specimens can live for 25 years and grow to lengths exceeding 1.8 meters, where the largest commercial cod fishery in the world operates under conditions that would shut down most industries. Norway fishermen call this season Lofatfisket, the Lofoten fishing season. It runs from January through April, when millions of mature cod migrate from the Barents Sea to spawn in the shallow coastal waters around the Lofoten Islands. This annual migration has occurred with mechanical precision for millennia, and for just as long, humans have been waiting. The numbers are staggering. Norway harvests approximately 400,000 tons of cod annually. That's roughly 200 million individual fish. The industry generates over $1.5 billion in export revenue each year. It employs 15,000 fishermen directly and supports tens of thousands more in processing, logistics, and distribution. But this isn't industrial pillaging. Norway operates under one of the strictest quota systems on Earth. Every vessel has limits. Every catch is monitored. Every season is adjusted based on scientific stock assessments. The goal isn't maximum extraction, it's perpetual harvest. The cod itself is an evolutionary marvel, Gadus morhua, the Atlantic cod, a cold water predator that has dominated northern seas for millions of years. Its body is built for these conditions. Antifreeze proteins in its blood prevent ice crystal formation. A large liver stores energy-rich oils. A lateral line system detects vibrations in near-total darkness. Adult cod are apex predators. They feed on herring, capelin, crustaceans, and smaller cod. A single large female can produce 9 million eggs in a spawning season. Most will die, but enough survive to maintain the population, assuming human harvest stays within sustainable limits. That balance is everything, and Norway has learned to respect it.
To understand why Norwegian cod grows so large, you need to understand the environment that produces them. The Gulf Stream carries warm Atlantic water north, mixing with cold Arctic currents in the Barents Sea. This creates one of the most nutrient-rich marine ecosystems on Earth. Phytoplankton blooms feed zooplankton. Zooplankton feed small fish. Small fish feed cod. The entire food web is supercharged by constant upwelling and mixing. Water temperature matters. Cod are cold water fish. They thrive between 2 and 10 degrees Celsius. Norwegian waters sit in that sweet spot year-round. Warmer waters to the south produce smaller cod. Colder waters to the north reduce growth rates. Norway is Goldilocks territory. The cod's life cycle is equally important. Juveniles spend their first years in coastal nurseries, feeding in shallow bays and fjords. At around 3 years old, they migrate to deeper feeding grounds in the Barents Sea. They'll spend the next several years there, growing, feeding, accumulating mass. Then, between ages 7 and 12, sexual maturity triggers the spawning migration. Every winter, millions of adult cod leave the Barents Sea and swim south. Their destination? The Lofoten Islands. The same spawning grounds their ancestors used. The same grounds that have supported Norwegian fishing communities for over 1,000 years. Historically, cod was Norway's economic foundation, before oil, before shipping, before modern industry. Dried cod, known as stockfish, was Norway's primary export in the Middle Ages. It fueled trade with Europe. It sustained Viking expansion. It allowed a small coastal population to punch far above its weight economically. The Hanseatic League controlled much of this trade in the 14th and 15th centuries. Bergen became a cod trading hub. Wealth flowed north, and Norwegian fishermen developed techniques that would evolve into the industrial methods used today. But the 20th century nearly destroyed it all. Overfishing in the 1960s and 70s crashed cod stocks. Entire fishing communities faced collapse. Norway was forced to act. In 1977, Norway established a 200-mile exclusive economic zone. Fishing became regulated, quotas were imposed, enforcement was strict, and slowly, over decades, the cod population recovered. Today, the Northeast Arctic cod stock is considered one of the best-managed fisheries in the world. Biomass levels are healthy, catch limits are respected, the industry is profitable and sustainable. That's the context. Now let's talk about the hunt. Every major fishery exists in tension between exploitation and conservation, between short-term profit and long-term viability. The Norwegian cod industry is no exception. Ecologically, cod are keystone predators. They regulate populations of smaller fish. They transfer energy from lower trophic levels to marine mammals and seabirds. Remove too many cod and the entire ecosystem shifts. Prey species explode. Competition increases. The balance collapses. This happened before. In the early 1990s, the Canadian cod fishery off Newfoundland collapsed completely. Decades of overfishing, ignored scientific warnings, and political pressure resulted in a moratorium that destroyed 40,000 jobs overnight. 30 years later, that stock has not recovered. Norway studied that failure intensely and decided on a different path. The current management system relies on annual stock assessments conducted by the International Council for the Exploration of the Sea. Scientists measure biomass, recruitment, age distribution, and spawning success. Based on that data, Norway and Russia, who share management of Barents Sea cod, set total allowable catch limits for the following year. For 2025, the quota was set at 454,000 tons. That number is not arbitrary. It's calculated to allow harvest while maintaining a spawning stock biomass above safe biological limits. If stocks decline, quotas drop. If stocks grow, quotas can increase. This adaptive management works. Cod stocks are currently near historic highs. Fishermen can make a living. Ecosystems remain functional, and consumers worldwide have access to sustainable protein. Economically, the benefits are enormous. Norway exports cod to over 100 countries. Portugal alone imports 50 million euros worth of Norwegian cod annually, mostly as dried stockfish. The United Kingdom, Germany, France, Spain, and China are major markets. Demand consistently exceeds supply. The fishing industry also supports coastal communities that would otherwise struggle. These are remote towns, often inaccessible by road, where fishing is the only viable industry. Without cod, many would depopulate entirely. But there are costs. Fishing is one of the world's most dangerous professions. Norwegian fishermen face hypothermia, drowning, crushing injuries, and vessel sinkings. Weather can change in minutes. Waves can sweep crew overboard. Equipment failures can be fatal. There's also environmental impact beyond the fish themselves. Bottom trawling can damage seafloor habitats. Bycatch occasionally includes non-target species. Fuel consumption is significant, and while Norwegian fisheries are relatively clean, no extraction industry is without footprint. The question isn't whether cod fishing has impacts, it's whether those impacts are acceptable relative to benefits and whether they're being managed responsibly. In Norwegian's case, the answer is largely yes, but it requires constant vigilance, constant monitoring, and a willingness to sacrifice short-term gain for long-term stability. Now, let's see how the actual fishing happens.
It's 3 in the morning. Air temperature is -15 Celsius. Wind speed 25 knots. Waves crest at 4 meters. And a Norwegian longliner is preparing to set 12 kilometers of fishing line into water 300 meters deep. This is not recreational fishing. This is industrial-scale protein extraction in one of the harshest environments on Earth. The vessels themselves are purpose-built for these conditions. Most are between 15 and 30 meters long, with reinforced hulls designed to handle ice and heavy seas. They carry sophisticated electronics, GPS, sonar, chart plotters, fish finders, and weather routing software. The goal is to maximize catch while minimizing risk. There are two primary methods for catching cod in Norwegian waters: longlining and trawling. Longlining is the traditional method. A main line, often 8 to 15 kilometers long, is set with baited hooks spaced every few meters. The line is weighted to sink to the desired depth, then left for several hours. Cod bite the hooks. The line is retrieved mechanically, and fish are removed, gutted, and stored on ice. A skilled crew can set and haul multiple long lines in a day. Each line might carry 1,000 hooks. Catch rates vary, but in peak season, a single vessel can land several tons per day. Trawling is more industrial. A large net, sometimes with an opening 50 meters wide, is dragged along the seafloor or through the water column. Everything in the net's path is captured. The net is hauled back after an hour or more, and the catch is dumped onto the deck.
Trawlers are larger than longliners, typically 30 to 50 meters, and can process fish on board. They're more efficient in terms of volume, but less selective. Bycatch is a concern, though modern nets include escape panels for undersized fish and non-target species. Both methods require crews to work in brutal conditions. Decks are slick with ice and fish slime. Machinery operates under constant strain. Hands go numb despite insulated gloves. Sleep is scarce. Safety equipment is mandatory, but accidents still happen. The fishing itself is guided by technology and experience. Captains use sonar to locate schools of cod. Historical data reveals productive grounds. Weather forecasts determine when and where to fish, but ultimately, success depends on timing, skill, and a little luck. During peak season, fishing grounds near Lofoten become crowded. Hundreds of vessels converge. Coordination is critical to avoid gear conflicts. The Norwegian Coast Guard monitors activity, enforces quotas, and responds to emergencies. Each vessel has an individual quota. Every fish must be reported. Inspections are random but frequent. The penalty for exceeding quota or misreporting catch is severe. Fines, license suspension, even vessel confiscation. This level of oversight prevents the tragedy of the commons. Without it, the fishery would collapse within a generation. Once the hold is full, vessels return to port, and that's where the next phase begins.
The port of Svolvær, 4 in the morning. A longliner ties up at the processing dock. In the hold, 8 tons of Atlantic cod, caught 16 hours earlier. What happens next determines whether this catch becomes premium sushi-grade fillets sold in Tokyo or industrial fish sticks bound for European supermarkets. Offloading begins immediately. Cod are pumped or conveyed from the hold into the factory. First stop, weighing and registration. Every kilogram is logged. Quota compliance is verified electronically. This data goes directly to Norwegian fisheries authorities. Next, sorting. Workers separate cod by size and quality. Large, intact specimens with minimal damage go into premium categories. Smaller or damaged fish go into secondary grades. Different grades command different prices. A 40-kilogram prime cod might sell for €15 per kilogram. A damaged 10-kilogram cod might fetch €4 per kilogram. The largest factories process thousands of tons per season. They operate 24 hours a day during peak months. Efficiency is critical. Speed prevents spoilage. Precision maximizes value. Gutting comes next. Automated or semi-automated machines remove viscera, gills, and blood. The liver is separated and saved. Cod liver oil is a valuable byproduct. The roe is also separated and often exported to Japan, where it's considered a delicacy.
Filleting follows. Skilled workers or filleting machines remove skin and bones, producing clean fillets ready for packaging. The yield from a whole cod to fillet is approximately 50%. The remaining 50% isn't wasted. Heads go to fish meal production. Bones and trimmings become animal feed or fertilizer. Skin can be processed into collagen for cosmetics. Some cod never gets filleted. Instead, it's processed into stockfish, Norway's ancient preservation method. The fish are beheaded, gutted, and tied in pairs by the tail. They're then hung on wooden racks outdoors, where they dry naturally in the cold Arctic air. After 3 months, they've lost 80% of their moisture and can be stored for years without refrigeration. Stockfish is still a major export. Italy and Portugal import thousands of tons annually. It's used in traditional dishes like bacalhau and lutefisk. Fresh and frozen fillets follow a different path. They're vacuum sealed, blast frozen, and packed into shipping containers. From there, they're transported to markets worldwide. Norwegian cod is served in restaurants from New York to Singapore. It's sold in supermarkets across Europe. It appears on dinner tables in landlocked countries that have never seen the ocean. The economics are straightforward. A single vessel landing 8 tons of cod at an average price of €7 per kilogram generates €56,000 gross. After fuel, crew wages, maintenance, and quota costs, net profit might be 20 to 30%. Over a season, a productive vessel can gross €500,000 or more.
Scale that across the entire fleet, and you understand why cod remains Norway's second-largest seafood export after salmon. But the journey doesn't end at the factory. The final transformation happens in the kitchen.
Atlantic cod is one of the most versatile fish in global cuisine. Mild flavor, firm texture, white flesh that flakes cleanly when cooked. It's been a staple protein for centuries across multiple continents. In Norway, traditional preparation is simple. Fresh cod is often poached or baked with butter, salt, and root vegetables. It's served with boiled potatoes and a side of roe. The emphasis is on the fish itself, not elaborate sauces or techniques. Stockfish requires rehydration. It's soaked in water for several days, changing the water regularly until the flesh softens. Once rehydrated, it's cooked like fresh fish. In Portugal, bacalhau is prepared hundreds of ways: grilled, baked, fried, stewed. It's considered the national dish. In the United Kingdom, cod is the traditional fish in fish and chips. The fillet is battered and deep-fried, served with thick-cut fries and malt vinegar. This dish alone consumes thousands of tons of Norwegian cod annually. In Mediterranean cuisine, cod appears in stews, soups, and pasta dishes. In Asian markets, it's used in hot pots, steamed preparations, and sushi. The Japanese prize Norwegian cod for its sweetness and texture, especially the belly meat. Nutritionally, cod is exceptional. It's high in protein, about 20 grams per 100-gram serving. It's low in fat, under 1 gram per serving. It contains essential omega-3 fatty acids, selenium, vitamin B12, and phosphorus. It's one of the leanest proteins available, making it popular in health-conscious diets. Cod liver oil deserves special mention. For generations, it was given to children as a vitamin D supplement. While synthetic vitamins have largely replaced it, cod liver oil remains popular in Scandinavia and is experiencing a resurgence in wellness markets worldwide. The culinary appeal of cod is its neutrality. It absorbs flavors well. It doesn't overpower other ingredients. It cooks quickly and evenly. For chefs, it's reliable. For home cooks, it's forgiving. This versatility explains why demand remains so high. Cod fits into virtually every cuisine. It scales from street food to fine dining. It's affordable yet premium. It's familiar yet adaptable. And every fillet, every dried stockfish, every portion of fish and chips traces back to the same place, the frozen waters off Norway, where fishermen risk their lives to pull giant cod from the depths. 100,000 cod, 12 weeks of brutal winter fishing, crews working in darkness, cold, and constant danger, factories processing around the clock, supply chains stretching across continents, and at the end of it all, $4.7 million in revenue, sustaining an industry that has defined a nation for 1,000 years. This is not sport fishing. This is not hobby fishing. This is industrial-scale food production at the edge of human endurance, in an environment that offers no mercy. But it's also something rarer, a success story. Proof that humans can harvest wild resources sustainably if they choose to. Proof that regulation works when it's based on science, not politics. Proof that short-term sacrifice can secure long-term prosperity. The Norwegian cod fishery isn't perfect. No extractive industry is. But it represents what's possible when economic interest aligns with ecological reality. When tradition adapts to modern knowledge. When an entire society decides that the ocean's wealth is worth protecting, even at the cost of immediate profit. The cod will return next winter, and the winter after that. And as long as Norway maintains its vigilance, its quotas, its commitment to sustainability, the hunt will continue. The frozen waters will yield their giants. The factories will hum. The world will eat. And somewhere in the Arctic darkness, a fishing crew will set another line, pull another net,
and continue a tradition as old as Norway itself. If you want to see more documentaries like this, exploring the industries that feed the world, the systems that sustain modern life, and the people who operate at the extremes of human capability, there's more waiting for you. This is the reality of fishing. This is the cost of your dinner. This is how the world works.